It's that time of the year again. Tax season is coming up. If you're fairly new in business, this might all be totally new to you. In this video, I want to share with you 8 small business tax write-offs. These are things you can deduct from your taxes, and the goal is to deduct as much as possible so you can get the most of your tax return earnings. Hey, my name is May, and I help makers, artists, and designers create a consistent income from selling their handmade products online. Before I share with you my list of tax deductibles, I need to say that I am not a tax expert or accountant.
Nope.
I have, however, been doing my own taxes ever since I came here to the United States 10 years ago, so I'm very familiar with this kind of stuff. And I do also have a math degree, so you can trust that you're in good hands. Number 1, this is a fairly new rule as of 2018 called the Qualified Business Income Deduction, which says that you can now deduct 20% of your income. That's pretty nice, right? The requirement is that you must make under a certain amount of income in order to qualify for this deductible. The number is pretty high, but it also changes every year. So if you want the most updated figure, definitely check out the IRS website. So here's an example of this. Let's say you made $20,000 last year in sales, and $8,000 were business expenses. That means you had a profit of $12,000. You can deduct 20% of that profit, which is $2,400. Just like that, you have a $2,400 deductible. Not bad. Number 2, you probably work from home, right? If you have a space in your house or apartment that's exclusively dedicated to just your business, you can deduct that. You can deduct things like your mortgage interest, insurance, utility bills, and repairs. And there's a simplified method for how you do this, and that's by taking $5 multiplied by however many square foot is the size of your home office. So if your craft room is like 15 feet by 10 feet, that's 150 square feet. You take that and multiply by 5, and from that you can deduct $750. Just keep in mind that you can only deduct up to a maximum of $1,500. Number 3, did you know that you can deduct mileage for driving to craft shows and markets and other trips that you might take that's business related? For example, driving to the craft store to buy materials and supplies. This is why it's a good habit to start tracking or writing down every trip you make to where and when so you can easily calculate this during tax time. I keep everything for wherever I go in my Google Calendar. When you know where you've been, you can bring up Google Maps to figure out the miles you've driven for that specific craft show, for example. So you're going to total up all the miles you've driven in the last year. Once you have that number, there are 2 ways to deduct this. And I like using the first way, which is using the standard mileage rate. It's so easy. You just take all the miles you've driven and multiply that by the IRS's standard deduction rate for the year. So the rate for this year is 57.5 cents per mile. So if you've driven 100 miles, that is business related, you can deduct $57.50. This is especially impactful for you if you do a lot of craft shows and events, and if you travel to do certain shows, you definitely want to deduct your mileage. Number 4, education. This is one of my favorite things to deduct because I love taking courses and learning from other people. If you're like me, whatever courses you signed up for, maybe it's my signature course, a Sale a Day Business System, you can deduct the price of the course from your taxes. Or if you got coaching from someone else, or if you've bought business books, or if you have a Creative Live subscription, these are all tax write-offs for your business. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and if you're finding it helpful, please hit the like button, maybe even subscribe if you want more videos like this. When you like or subscribe or leave a comment, it tells YouTube that this was a good video and it helps show it to more people on YouTube. All right, number 5, software. Your website, whether that's on Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, whatever it is you use, that is deductible. Any apps you've got installed on your site that you pay for, if you pay for an email service like MailChimp or MailerLite, if you have a shipping service like ShipStation or Indicia, if you have social media software like Planoly or Later for scheduling Instagram posts, bookkeeping or inventory management software. We use so much software these days to keep our business going. All of these help you run your business and they can all be deducted. Number 6, did you know that even taxes themselves can be deducted? That's pretty meta, right? I always thought this was kind of weird that you could do this, but I'm not complaining because remember, the more you deduct, the more money you get back from tax returns. So when you're in business for yourself, you have to pay what's called a self-employment tax. This tax includes Social Security and Medicare, which you would normally have to pay for anyway if you have a job and you're employed by someone else. So just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you can avoid paying for those things. So when I say that taxes can be deducted, you can deduct part of your self-employment tax and even your sales tax or state income tax. Number 7, marketing and advertising expenses. Whatever you spend on in your business that has the purpose of promoting your business, like business cards, postcards, doing paid Facebook ads, those can all be deducted. For me, I spend a lot of money on paid ads, so I can deduct a lot from this category. Number 8, even your business-related meals can also be deducted. So say, for example, you're traveling for a multiple-day craft show. Say it's a 10-hour show and you've bought lunch from the food truck at the show. You can deduct 50% of the cost of your lunch for being at the craft show. Generally speaking, if you bought something that was used to benefit your business and you can document the reasons for it, you can deduct that off your business income. For example, if I'm about to speak at an event, I might get my hair, makeup, and nails done. Normally, you wouldn't ever deduct those, but the fact that this was done for the business event, I can deduct those costs for that special occasion. So that's my list of 8 things that you may not know about that you can write off. Of course, there is so much more you can deduct, like your materials, supplies, equipment, if you've hired help from freelancers or independent contractors. Those are all deductible. Don't panic if all of this sounds super confusing. I highly recommend using tax software to help with all of this because it can often help you spot deductions that you otherwise wouldn't know to make. We use TurboTax and we love it. Before using software, we were filling everything in digitally using PDFs and calculators, and it would take us an entire weekend to do this. But with the help of software, we can often finish our taxes in just one afternoon. I might get my hair, my makeup, and my hair. Reset. Okay. Okay. I can deduct those costs for let's try that again. Okay. I can deduct those costs for that. I highly recommend. Okay, starting over. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment because that tells YouTube that this was a good video and it'll help show this video to more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified for more handmade business tips like this. Stay on to watch this next video on the screen for more help on how to run your handmade business. Thanks for watching.